Most students plan their essays on family and love in A Christmas Carol like this. Scrooge is lonely. He loses Belle. At the end, he becomes part of a family. These ideas are relevant, but they're still too descriptive to reach grade 9. To reach grade 9, you need to track how Dickens presents family and love across the novella. Initially, furthermore, ultimately. Initially, Dickens presents the absence of family and love as psychologically destructive, suggesting that emotional neglect can trap people in cycles of loneliness, bitterness, and self-isolation. This is clear in Stave 2, when Scrooge sees his younger self described as a solitary child, neglected by his friends. Scrooge said he knew it, and he sobbed. The repetition of the adjective solitary links directly back to Scrooge being described earlier as solitary as an oyster, creating a cyclical pattern of emotional isolation throughout the novella. Dickens therefore suggests that Scrooge's inability to form loving relationships as an adult may partly originate from the emotional neglect he experienced as a child. The verb neglected is especially significant because it implies emotional abandonment rather than simple loneliness. Dickens presents the lack of love and family support as deeply psychologically damaging. Importantly, the Ghost of Christmas Past initially describes the child almost as if he is not Scrooge himself. This creates emotional distance between the vulnerable child and the bitter adult Scrooge later becomes. This emotional disconnect highlights how completely Scrooge has buried his past and ignored the emotional pain that shaped him. The sudden short sentence, "and he sobbed," is especially powerful because it reveals an uncontrollable emotional reaction that Scrooge can no longer suppress. This links closely to Freudian ideas surrounding childhood trauma. Sigmund Freud argued that unresolved childhood experiences continue shaping adult behavior later in life, and Dickens presents Scrooge as someone emotionally trapped by the neglect and isolation of his childhood. Dickens therefore initially presents family and love not as sentimental luxuries, but as essential emotional forces that shape identity, morality, and human connection. Furthermore, Dickens presents the rejection of love in favor of wealth as deeply self-destructive, suggesting that Scrooge attempts to replace emotional security with financial security. This is most evident when Belle tells Scrooge that another idol has displaced me, a golden one. The noun idol immediately introduces ideas of worship and devotion, implying that Scrooge now values money with the same emotional intensity that he once loved Belle. Dickens therefore presents greed as something that corrupts genuine human connection and gradually replaces love with obsession. The description of wealth as a golden idol contains biblical connotations because Victorian readers would likely recognize references to the golden calf, a false god worshipped by people who abandoned their true moral beliefs. Dickens uses this biblical reference to suggest that Scrooge's obsession with wealth is spiritually corrupt and morally dangerous. Importantly, the scene also positions Belle as the emotional victim of Scrooge's greed. The reader sympathizes with her because she represents genuine, selfless love that Scrooge consciously chooses to abandon. This develops the earlier idea of emotional neglect because Dickens implies that Scrooge's childhood loneliness pushes him into a cycle of self-destruction where wealth becomes the only form of safety or control he trusts. However, Dickens does not allow childhood trauma to excuse Scrooge's behavior. Instead, he presents adulthood as a stage where individuals must choose whether they prioritize greed or human relationships. Belle later describes their relationship using the language of business, explaining that our contract is an old one. The noun contract transforms love into a cold commercial agreement, reflecting how Scrooge's obsession with money has stripped emotional warmth from the relationship. Belle's decision to release Scrooge also creates ideas of emotional imprisonment, suggesting that love can no longer survive once human relationships become dominated by profit and materialism. In this way, Dickens presents the rejection of family and love as both morally corrupt and emotionally destructive. Ultimately, Dickens presents family and love as the true sources of redemption, suggesting that genuine human connection can restore humanity even after years of emotional isolation. This is clear at the end of the novella when Dickens states that, to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. The relative clause, who did not die, emphasizes that Scrooge's transformation has directly saved Tiny Tim's life, showing that love and compassion have real human consequences. Importantly, Dickens presents redemption not through wealth itself, but through how Scrooge chooses to use his wealth to support and protect others. The phrase "second father" is especially significant because it suggests that Scrooge has finally accepted emotional responsibility for another human being after a lifetime of isolation. Dickens therefore presents family not simply as biological connection, but as something that can be chosen, created, and extended towards humanity itself through kindness, compassion, and responsibility. This reflects Marley's earlier warning that humanity should be everyone's business, suggesting that true redemption only occurs when people begin treating others with the care and responsibility normally associated with family. Importantly, Scrooge's redemption would never have begun without Marley's intervention, reinforcing Dickens' belief that human beings have a responsibility to guide, support, and save one another. The ending also follows a circular structure because Scrooge returns to many of the same people introduced earlier in the novella. However, his emotional attitude has completely transformed. By ending the novella with Tiny Tim's survival and Scrooge's emotional rebirth, Dickens leaves the reader with a hopeful message that love, compassion, and human connection can overcome even the deepest emotional isolation. Dickens purposefully uses A Christmas Carol to reveal the importance of compassion, emotional connection, and humanity within Victorian society. Furthermore, Dickens links the absence of love and emotional responsibility to many of society's wider problems, including greed, repression, inequality, and the neglect of vulnerable people. Ultimately, Dickens forces the reader to realize that societies built upon selfishness and emotional detachment inevitably become divided and destructive. He warns Victorian readers that wealth without compassion creates both personal emptiness and social suffering. Importantly, Dickens also believed that the wealthy should care for the poor with the same compassion and responsibility normally shown towards one's own family. In this way, kindness becomes more than simple charity. It becomes a moral duty capable of improving both society and the individual. Dickens also presents redemption as a conscious choice, suggesting that people are not permanently trapped by trauma, greed, or emotional isolation. Instead, he argues that genuine happiness and fulfillment come through love, empathy, generosity, and human connection rather than money or social status. In this way, A Christmas Carol becomes both a celebration of compassion and a powerful criticism of the selfish values Dickens believed were damaging Victorian society. Thank you for watching.